In this video, I just want to tell you guys my testimony. I started my business last year, but before then, I had been in the business world, trial and errors, and things were just not going too great for me. Before we came into this year, towards the end of last year, God led me to take a course online, and I had gone through this course and this membership. Despite the fact that I was also in business school, I had hired a brand strategist. Basically, I was ready to change my life, and I was tired of not doing anything about it anymore. I had gotten to the end of myself. I had gone through a whole year of coaching, and I had not made a single dime. So I was at the point where I was ready to do what it takes to grow, and I decided to take advantage of the resources that God had put around me, and I paid for it, and I was willing to pay more. I did not care, because I had gotten to the point where I could not continue putting out so much of myself and not getting anything back in return, especially because I knew there was so much I had to do, so many projects that God has called me to do, and I felt like I needed to do what was necessary to move to the next level. If you are in that position right now, then sis, bro, I understand. Honestly speaking, if it was not for God, I don't know where I would have been. God changed my life this 2024 and opened my eyes to so many possibilities that I did not know existed, to be honest. I did not plan for this video to go in this direction, but just follow me on it, right? January this year, someone that I had coached in the past had reached out to me and said, you know what, I need business coaching. And I was like, okay, I'm in business school. I've had experiences with business, even though not a lot have been successful. Let me help, right? And then I charged this client my very first 6-figure offer. And this client paid the money, and I started working with this client. And then I literally witnessed this client make back his investment and then some, like additional change on top. And I was mind blown, like, wow, I have the power to multiply wealth. Like, I was so shocked. I literally screamed it from the rooftops. I shared it on social media, I shared it on my email newsletters, and so on and so forth. But it opened my eyes to so many possibilities and so many things that I did not know. I went on this rabbit hole, learning everything I needed to learn about business and growing financially and so on and so forth. And it's changed my life. It changed my life. God changed my life this year. Because I remember I was asking this client, like, what made you reach out to me to coach you on business? Because at the time, I wasn't even posting any content about business. At the time, I hadn't coached anyone on business coaching. Yes, I was a coach, but I was a productivity coach. So I just needed to understand what made this client reach out to me and say, you know what, I want you to help me. And then when I had asked this client, what made you reach out? They said, I don't know. I was like, you don't know? You don't know why you reached out to me for help? And you paid me. You literally paid me money to help you, and you don't know why? And it's just like, I just felt in my spirit like you could help me. And it was at that moment I realized that God was tired of seeing me struggle. And God was seeing the intentionality that I was making, the financial investment I was making to improve myself. That God was like, let me nudge you in the right direction. That was basically what happened. And it changed my life. I did not know I was going to talk about this story. Like, I literally feel like crying right now, because that opened so many doors and so many opportunities for me that I did not know existed. And I will always forever be grateful for God nudging this person and this person actually obeying, because it changed my life. And brought me across the path of so many other amazing clients and gave me the boldness to grow my business. I made so much more money than I thought I would make this year. And that's just a testament to God's goodness, that at the beginning of this year, I was like, okay, if so and so amount is all I make this year, then that is good enough for me. But God looked at me and said, that is not good enough for me. I want you to see that there is a potential here. I want you to see that you are on track. And so God superseded my expectations. I would be a hypocrite to come out here and tell you, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. There are so many things I can say you should do or not do. But the most important thing to do is to let God lead you, to obey God, because God had prompted me to pay for those online courses. God had prompted me to pay for the branding strategist. And if I had not obeyed God and paid for those services, then I wouldn't have been equipped to serve these clients. And in addition to all of this, God made it such that the first person I ever worked with in this area was a low stakes person. And what I mean by that is, my mistakes were not public. I learned on the job, I corrected myself, and when I got the client after that, I did not make the same mistakes. I noticed that I needed to learn a lot from that very first client, and God made it such that it wasn't somebody that if I made a mistake, they would write me off. I owe the success and the growth of my business this year to God alone. I cannot even take credit for it, because if I had asked this client, okay, what made you reach out to me? And this client said, because you've been posting about business, because you're an amazing business coach or whatever, then I would have thought it's about me. But my business started because of God. Because God had prompted someone to take a chance on me. Because God had put it in the heart of somebody to put money in my hands to change their lives. And this person was crazy enough to believe. And this person eventually got the results. God believed in me before I believed in myself. Guys, I feel like crying. I didn't plan on doing this in this video, but I have to share this testimony. If you're in a season in your life where for the past couple of years, you've been going through the lowest of lows, financially, emotionally, and in any other way, God sees you. And I'm going to pray for you at the end of this video. But if I were to give you practical tips, the first thing I would say is obey God. If God is telling you to bring out your hard-earned money and invest in something, He knows why. He knows why, because if I did not listen to God, I would have been ill-equipped. I wouldn't have been equipped to help this client that God brought my way. If God tells you to sacrifice financially, yes, I know right now, financially you are struggling. It does not matter. Because the God that gives you the instruction to take a step of faith and invest financially into someone or into something, that same God will provide for you. I can say for a fact that the money that I invested in the courses and the membership and the brand strategist, I made more than 4 times that amount from just one client. So if I was arguing with God, God, why are you telling me to spend money? And if I had never stepped out in faith, I wouldn't have been equipped enough to help this person and quadruple my investment. So I said all that to say this. If God has been leading you to invest in a course, in a program, in a coach, whatever the case may be, that is the first step in changing your life. Step out in faith and do it. And I'm saying it because I did it. I obeyed God blind. I did not know what the future was like. I did not know that God was going to put me on a path to transformation. I did not know that God was going to change my life so much. I just trusted God and He rewarded me for it. He believed in me before I even believed in myself. Don't be so stingy that you rob yourself of your destiny. Money is a tool. You cannot sleep on money. Money is not bed. You cannot shower with money. Money is not water. Money is the tool you use to get the things you want. Money is the tool you use to get the bed that you sleep on. So if God is telling you to invest financially in anything, do not think twice. It is worth it. God has a way of multiplying in 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 folds any investment that you make out of obedience. And the second thing I would say is, do not be scared to promote yourself. Do not be scared to put yourself out there. The moment God opened my eyes to what my capabilities were, that changed my life, because I started talking about business and I started talking about everything I was learning and everything I was helping these clients do. And as a result, I got more clients into my system, and I'm so grateful to God for that. I'm so grateful to God for all the clients that started coming to me because of this platform, because I was able to go online and talk about what I do. I started attracting international clients, paying me in different currencies, just because I was bold enough to talk about the things that God was teaching me, the things that I was learning through the books that God was bringing my way, through my experiences, and so on and so forth. So the second thing I would say is, please do not be scared to put yourself out there. 2025 is the year that you should not be scared to put yourself out there in terms of content. Talk about the things that you love. Talk about the things that you've learned. Be vocal online, because closed mouths don't get fed. If I had just worked with that one client and then I didn't leverage my social media platforms, I wouldn't have worked with other clients and I wouldn't have made as much money as I ended up making. So guys, I would encourage you that if you have been shying away from putting yourself out on social media, 2025 is the time to do it. And now we're in an era where nobody cares about you showing up perfectly. Like, nobody cares about you being your best self. Like, people want authenticity. Like, this video is even barely edited. So please just come online and be yourself. You don't need any fancy gadgets. You can use your phone. I literally started with my phone. You don't need any fancy equipment, and you don't need to be perfect. You just need to show up, being authentically yourself, and talk about the things that have changed your life. And you would be shocked how many people can and how many people would resonate with you. But yeah, that's the second thing I would encourage you to do if you want to change your life in 2025. Put yourself out there. Be bold. Do it imperfectly, but do it regardless. The third thing I would say is, never stop educating yourself. I'm talking reading books and so on and so forth. Because one of the ways that God really blessed me, aside from making me invest in people's courses and memberships and the brand strategist, one of the ways that God blessed me was through books. God would tell me, okay, read this book. Now, the books are written by authors that are worth millions of dollars. Like, if I were to pay them for coaching, I probably couldn't afford it. We're talking tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars, basically. So basically, all I had in terms of access to their brains were the books that God was bringing my way to answer questions that I needed answers to. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for that. I'm grateful for the challenges. I'm grateful for the wins. I'm grateful for the delays. And I'm grateful for the answered prayers. God will never watch you drown. So if you have been in a season where you have been drowning, God has been throwing you a lifeline. Take advantage of it. And I promise you, as you do so, you will change your life in 2025. Before I leave, I'm going to tell you something my client said to me that really struck a nerve. He said throughout the year 2023, he was praying, God, bless my finances, increase me financially, change my life. And he never took any step to do anything. And the year ended and his life was the same. And in the year 2024, he said, my life is going to improve. And God led him to reach out to me for business coaching. And by the end of the year, he had seen his prayers come to pass. So the year 2025 will go by whether you do anything about it or whether you don't do anything about it. So I challenge you to do something about it so that the year 2025 will end with you saying that God has changed your life too. I'm rooting for you. Before we leave, I'm going to pray for you. For anyone that has been struggling financially, that has seen this video, my prayer for you is that you have come into your season of abundance, that you have come into a year of financial ease, that God brings you around the right people, around the right resources that would be necessary for your life to see visible transformation. I decree financial breakthrough is your portion, and that every single thing that you have been believing God for, you see it in multiple folds in Jesus' name. Amen. God bless you and Happy New Year.